Real estate agents. You mentioned before that there's this blend. It used to be investors over here, agents over here. Investors don't like agents because they're outdated, obsolete, and they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
Agents don't like investors because they're cheap, they're scum, they're trying to rob people of their homes.
yeah, I've heard
Um,
it all.
but and then I mean, obviously there can be truth to both sides. On the very very small ends, I mean, there's always
Are there bad
fringes out
apples?
there.
Absolutely, but the
Yeah,
bad apples do not paint the brush for everybody. I agree with that.
100%. But now there's a lot of blending, and I got my license.
Mm-hmm.
I asked I asked a guy who he's done thousands of deals. He owns a hard money company who's done thousands of more deals. Loaning other people money on deals. And I asked him, "Hey, should I get my license?" And basically he summed it up with, "If you want to be a professional in this business, you need to get licensed. It can only help you. Like you can't break the law with or without a license. Like you can't defraud someone. Really, the only thing a license really compels you to do is you get a couple extra disclosures, but all that can be done and stacked in your favor because now you're like, hey, I'm not someone who just took a weekend boot camp trying to type your property and steal your equity. Actually, I have a license by the state. I've gone through a background check. And I actually have a higher standard of ethics I have to uphold, and
Hmm.
I'm using the state contracts. You might have seen these when you bought the house. Blah, 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 blah. So I lay out all these landmines uh, for my competition to step on if they were to shop it. But in any case, we're seeing a lot of blending now,
Yeah.
where it's both, and I just call it the real estate professional. It's not the agent. It's not the investor. I also call it an investor agent. But if you're an agent and that's all you know, then all you know is listing a home.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I there are people who do not want their home listed, but they do want it sold. Sometimes they want it sold fast. Sometimes they may not
Mm.
care, but they do want it sold. The surge of open door, offer pad, the Zillow offers, regardless of how you feel about them and whether or not those business models survive. Well, actually, the business model survives. Whether those businesses survive, I don't know. But the demand they've been able to soak up, the market share, is proof that agents are not providing that value to the marketplace. I've had people that I personally know, someone who was actually running for elected office that had a rental property in a new home that wanted me to buy his house. And I told him up front, like, because I went to church with a guy, he's running for elected office, he was running for constable. So I'm like, let me list it. Like, I can get you more money. I can show him, hey, look, I think it's worth this. You're cash flowing. Like, we'll just let the lease expire, do this, da, da, da. He's like, no, I don't want to deal with it. Don't want to deal with it. You buy it. Bought it. I made a lot of money off that house. Just did not want to list it. But so agents that know how to handle that situation are better able to serve their clients. Same with investors. And not every house wants to sell off market or at a deep discount or in the creative manner, like subject to and all that. They may not want that, but they do want to sell. And they might even be able to be okay selling at a slight discount that just doesn't work for you. Well, if you could list it, you now expose them to other buyers, some investor buyers that are just willing to pay a lot more than what you are. You can help them. You can only do that if you're both, or if you have the opposite side on your core team.
Absolutely. And people forget, like, you may not like the other side, and the other side may not like you, but that homeowner doesn't care what's going on between you two.
Yeah,
Like, the homeowner doesn't know that agents and investors may not get along like oil and water,
they're
right?
a
All
customer.
that
All they care
homeowner
about
knows
is
is,
they've got a problem.
and it needs
Who's
to
going to
be
solve it?
solved. Yeah, exactly. And
My
if
ice
you're
ice
not,
baby.
and if you're not like thinking like Batman's utility belt, where you practically have everything that you can think of, I don't know what you're doing. You really need to start thinking. I need to build that arsenal of strategy. I can't be just a one trick pony. I need to understand or build my team and bring in people that understand these other strategies to help get our team to that next level. So when a homeowner says, "No, I'm not interested in listing," well, how about this option? Well,
Yeah,
no, not that. How about this option? Right? And I see that. I mean, I'm physically witnessing as I travel, and I teach, and I'm seeing these new students and how people are teaching. they're starting to teach, these professionals how to approach homeowners with multiple strategies. And think about how impressive that is to a homeowner. They're not going to be looking. I believe in the next 5, 10 years, homeowners are going to be looking for real estate professionals, not an agent, not an investor.
Yeah.
And I think homeowners are going to want to see options, not just this is what I think it could list for. This is what your cash offer is. They're going to want to see all their options and then decide on what's best for them.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of the public that thinks realtors are obsolete. They may not like investors, but they also think realtors are obsolete. I mean, Zillow and its surgence has given the average homeowner a lot of power to or access to data that they didn't previously have.
right.
Now, and I know agents don't like Zillow, and let's be clear, Zillow really has no interest in putting realtors' interest at best. They've got their own agenda. It's their business. But at the end of the day, that information is accessible and very easily accessible to the public. But ultimately, at the end of the day, a home buyer, a home seller, they have a problem, and they don't care how they solve that problem to a degree. They just want to make sure it's solved. Some may have greater desires and needs for customer service, some less so. Um, but it is going to it's changing the dynamics on how investors and agents or the investor agent is going to have to run their business, and how they're either going to need to have dynamic teams or just hyper focused on a very unique skill set and strategy that's not easily it's not easy to get into. So if you focus on the broad and easy, then competition's easy to come in. But if you
Absolutely.
focus on something that's in high demand, but it's also very difficult to learn that skill set or get into that, then that's a moat. That's a moat around your business. It's a hedge, and it protects you. And people are going to pick specialize or be broad, but have a dynamic team.
Yeah, absolutely.